Good morning, friends. Today, let us discuss innate ideas and then refutation of such innate ideas by John Locke. Okay, this is part of empiricism, John Locke. Today, let us see what John Locke has to say regarding innate ideas. John Locke. In this, we will discuss the topic refutation of innate ideas. Refutation of innate ideas. Now, these innate ideas, see, to refute the innate ideas, first we should know what are these innate ideas. What are these innate ideas? So first let us understand what are these innate ideas. These innate ideas, they are there with us right from our birth. The ideas which are there with us right at the time of our birth. So they are there with us at the time of birth, right from the birth. So innate ideas are present with us right at the time of our birth. That means, whenever our soul takes birth, these innate ideas also come along with us, imprinted on the soul. So, they are imprinted on the soul. So, those ideas which are there right from the birth, that is right from the birth, inborn, they are inborn. Whenever we take birth, these ideas are there with us. Okay, we do not acquire them with experiences. We do not acquire them with our experiences. You know experiences by what I mean? Experiences means sense experiences. Okay? So, we do not acquire these ideas through the sense experiences. They are inborn. Whenever we take birth, they come along with the soul, imprinted on the soul. Okay? So, these are known as innate ideas. We are not going to learn anything new. All the ideas are innate. Innate means inborn, right from the birth of the child. They are there with us. They are there with us. Okay? Then we call them as innate ideas. So, these innate ideas form the main basis for rationalism. Basis for rationalism is the main idea in rationalism. This is the main idea in rationalism. According to them, for example, Plato, who is an idealist, and then Descartes, they both believed that if not all, at least some ideas are inborn. They are there with us right from the time of our birth. Because some ideas cannot be learned through experience. They are with our soul. They are imprinted on our soul. Whenever we take birth, they are also associated with us right from the time of our birth. Then such ideas are known as innate ideas. Now, I said that they are imprinted on our soul. Who could have imprinted them on our soul? Who could have imprinted them on our soul? None but it is the God. God must have imprinted them on our soul. God must have imprinted them on our soul. Okay? God must have imprinted them on our soul. So naturally, whatever God does is with authority and certainty. Authority and certainty. So whatever innate ideas are there, these innate ideas, they are supposed to be characterized by certainty. They are characterized by authority because they are with us right from the birth, imprinted on the soul by God. Okay, so as they are coming from God, they must be with certainty. Now, this is the idea of innate ideas. This is the structure of innate ideas. What they say, they are there right from the soul, birth, they are imprinted on the soul. They must have been imprinted on the soul by the God. Now, John Locke had some problem with this concept of innate ideas. He saw that most of the kings, autocratic kings, rulers, they try to exploit the people in general and favor certain rich classes and exploit the poorer classes. And they were ruling in such a way that it was very harmful for the society. So, Locke wanted to refute the innate ideas. So he proposed empiricism. What he proposed? He proposed empiricism. What does this empiricism means? Let us see. To propagate his idea of empiricism, he refuted innate ideas. What is empiricism and how he refuted innate ideas? Let us see now. Coming to empiricism, as proposed by John Locke, it says that there is nothing in the mind that has not passed through senses. So, what does this sentence mean? It means that whatever is there in our mind, that must have come to our mind only through our senses. That is sense experiences. That is sense experiences. So he says that there is nothing like innate ideas. There are no innate ideas. There are no innate ideas. No innate ideas. Then how ideas come to our mind? Ideas come to our mind are formed in our mind only through sense experiences. Only through sense experiences. Mind at the time of birth is like a clean slate. Is like a clean slate, or otherwise it is known as, in Indian philosophy, it is known as tabula rasa. Tabula rasa means clean slate. Tabula rasa means clean slate. So, exactly opposite idea of innate ideas is being proposed by John Locke in his empiricism. He says that there are no such ideas as innate ideas. Mind is in a clean state at the time of birth, and on that the sense experiences get imprinted. In Descartes' rationalism, sense experiences have no role to play on the ideas in the mind, but sense experiences get imprinted on mind in empiricism as proposed by John Locke. So exactly opposite. Descartes says that there are innate ideas. All rationalists say that there are innate ideas, but John Locke says that there are no innate ideas. And Descartes says that there is no role for the sense experiences in formation of ideas. But empiricism, as proposed by Locke, says that only through sense experiences ideas are formed in the mind. So sense experiences get imprinted on mind as ideas. As ideas. Okay? So these ideas are formed in mind only through sense experiences. Now, to refute these innate ideas and to support empiricism, what arguments did John Locke made? To refute the innate ideas and to support his empiricism, what arguments did John Locke made? Let us analyze one after the other. The first argument put forward by the supporters of innate ideas. Supporters of innate ideas. So what is the first argument put forward by the supporters of innate ideas? There are certain ideas. There are certain ideas which have universal concept. Certain ideas have universal concept. For example, idea of God. So rationalists say that there are certain ideas which are not God through sense experiences, but that notion of God, that idea of God is there universally in all of us. So it has a universal concept. So as such, these are there right from the birth of us. They are there innately in us. That's what is the supporters of innate ideas, that is rationalists say. The rationalists say. But John Locke, in his empiricism, what does he say countering this argument? Counters his counter. This is his counter. Counter to this. First argument, that universal concept. No such universal concept is there. No such universal concept can be proved. For example, you take the same example of God. See, child does not know who is a God unless we tell. Similarly, idiots. Who are idiots? Those who have lost brain. Okay, those who have lost brain. Okay, they are known as idiots. So even these idiots also do not know who is God. And similarly, savages. Savages means those man-eaters who have no civilization and they eat even the human beings also, man-eaters like that. So such savages, even they do not know the concept of God, the idea of God. So you cannot say that the idea of God is universally having consent. So that's how he says. You may say that atheists also do not believe in God. But the point is that Locke believed in God, so he did not take that example. Locke believed in God, so he did not take the examples of atheists. Okay, so this is the first argument put forward by supporters of innate ideas, and this has been countered by Locke in saying that it is not universally proved. The universal consent cannot be proved because children, idiots, and savages have no idea of God. So, like that, he counters the first argument. Now, what is the second argument put forward by supporters of innate ideas? The second argument put forward by supporters of innate ideas is that there are certain ideas like mathematical truths, maybe arithmetic or maybe geometric. example, arithmetic means 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Geometric means a triangle has 3 sides. A triangle has 3 sides. So such mathematical truths, they are necessary and certain. And nothing to do with sense experience. So they must have been imprinted on our soul at the time of birth by God, the certain arithmetic and geometric truths, mathematical truths. Now, how does Locke counter this? How does Locke counter this? Let us see. Locke counters this by saying that even mathematical truths are not innate. Mathematical truths are not innate. In fact, they are derived by abstract relation of ideas. All mathematical truths, they are not innate, they are nothing but the abstract relation of ideas. So they are not inborn. Even the mathematical truths are also not inborn. Even the mathematical truths are also not inborn. So even the second argument put forward by the supporters of innate ideas, that is rationalists, it is again countered by Locke, that saying that mathematical, even the mathematical truths, whether they be arithmetic or geometric, they are nothing but the abstract relation of ideas. Okay? Now, the third argument put forward by the supporters of innate ideas. They say that certain self-evident truths, certain self-evident truths or axioms do not require any sense experiences to prove them. So, as such, these are supposed to be innate ideas which are inborn with us. Okay? They must have been imprinted on our soul by God. For this, the counter argument put forward by John Locke is that so-called self-evident truths or axioms may be certain in some particular conditions. But may not be certain in other conditions. So, universally not accepted. Universally not accepted. So, like this, Locke counters even the third argument put forward by supporters of innate ideas or rationalists, saying that whatever self-evident truths or axioms you are saying, they may be right in certain conditions at certain places, but they may not be right in all places in all conditions. As such, they are not universally accepted. So even the third argument is countered by Locke like this. Now let us see a few more arguments. So the fourth argument put forward by supporters of innate ideas. Locke questions the supporters of innate ideas. You are saying that they are innate ideas in our mind. Where are they? If they are there in our mind, we must know. So, supporters of innate ideas say that the innate ideas are present in our mind unconsciously. So our mind also does not know about them. So ideas may be present in our mind without our knowledge, without the knowledge of the mind. So that as such we may not be able to know them. Then this has been countered by Locke, saying that such an argument is absurd. That ideas are present in my mind but I don't know about them. We cannot make such arguments. If it is present in our mind, that must be known to my mind, because my mind itself is conscious matter. It is conscious. So if at all there is any innate idea, then it must be known. There cannot be any possibility. There cannot be any possibility of ideas present in mind, without its knowledge. So this is the fourth argument put forward by supporters of innate ideas, who say that these ideas our mind may not be knowing, but they are present in our mind innately. But Locke counters it, saying that you say that on one hand they are present in our mind, and on the other hand you say that they are not known to mind. Nobody will be ready to accept it. As such, it is absurd. If at all it is there in my mind, I must be knowing about that. Yeah, the very thought that I do not know what is there in my mind is absurd. So that is the fourth argument countered by Locke. Now let us see what is this fifth argument as proposed by supporters of innate ideas. Now, the fifth argument put forward by supporters of innate ideas is that the innate ideas are present in our mind dormantly. That means without any consciousness, unconsciously, but manifest themselves at the time of sense experiences into ideas. Dormantly means they are present as powers or potentiality. For example, in a seed, plant is present potentially. When it will sprout, when conducive atmosphere is created, suitable conditions are created. So when it is sown and then enough water and sunlight are there, then the seed sprouts into a plant. So similarly, when sense experiences, when these innate ideas, then they are exposed to sense experiences, then they manifest themselves into ideas. They are present in our mind as powers or potentiality. Powers or potentiality. So this is the fifth argument put forward by the supporters of innate ideas or rationalists. Now, coming to this fifth argument, Locke accepts. Locke accepts this fifth argument, but not as innate ideas, only as powers or potentiality, and says that as they are not ideas, they do not contribute to knowledge. They do not contribute to knowledge. They do not contribute to knowledge. The very purpose of ideas is they are the principles of knowledge. So he says that these powers or potentials which are present in our mind, they are not innate ideas. They do not contribute to knowledge. Then what are they? What are these powers and potentials according to Locke?